Hi everybody, Dacob here, and just like that, we're going to review ourselves another mess of something. A mess of something. Episode 11 of And Just Like That Season 3. Hi ladies. Yes, we have received the official news that the show has been canceled. But hear me out. I have stuff to say, not just connected to episode 11 of season 3, but we're going to touch base on a potential future for whatever might be the next chapter for And Just Like That, which might be renamed. And if it were to be renamed, what would the new name be? Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about this episode first. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for everybody who has discovered my channel thus far, thanks to the review of the show. It has been one heck of a journey together. I love talking about the show with you guys, and I love reading your comments under the videos, so keep them coming. And everything I do say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's a legend, just my opinion. So we'll go, as they say. Let me take a sip of coffee. Are you ready, guys? Okay, here's where it's at. Carrie is being Carrie. Carrie, we still love to hate her, okay? Because here's the thing. First of all, I was just talking in another video about fashion with my viewers, and we were talking about luxury bags, how maybe Chanel is not even going to be a thing anymore in 10 years because all the new generation of people, they're just not into certain things anymore and the prices are insane. And I said, but enter Carrie Bradshaw in episode 11 with a huge Coach bag. Coach did the giant coin purses made in really big, and then Carrie's kind of wearing it in the show. And this is something that Louis Vuitton already did a couple of seasons ago when they did their little, clay, the little key pouches, zipper pouches. They kind of made them really big. So it's not like, and before Louis Vuitton, others have done it decades prior. This is, to be fair, nothing new, but it is kind of refreshing to see that supple leather that Coach used for this particular type of oversized clutch that Carrie's wearing. So Carrie's being Carrie. What can I tell you? She broke up with Aiden. What's his name? The writer, the English writer, Kincaid. Duncan Kincaid has left the under apartment of her building and he went back to London. I told you in episode 10, I'm like, he's leaving for London. She got a business card from his editor, publisher from London to work with her. Like, she might want to go to London to see him. Samantha is in London. Are we going to see Samantha Jones maybe one last time? But then, guess what? We get episode 11, nothing is happening. I'm like, Michael Patrick King said something to the effect of they knew that this was going to be the last season, so they made this season 2 episodes longer than the other seasons to give us a beautiful farewell in the last 2 episodes. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I'm watching episode 11. I'm waiting for the emotional beginning of the goodbye. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting, and the 25 minutes pass and nothing happened. And I'm like, man, now we only have one more episode left. Where's this big emotional goodbye for the fans? So what happens? Well, Carrie's feeling more and more lonely. We're getting more and more signals. The world is kind of pointing at her, telling her, like, you're all alone. You're gonna die alone. And she's starting to feel some type of way. She's walking in her old neighborhood. She's walking towards her old apartment. And actually, the show begins with her in one of the bakeries in her neighborhood where she's ordering for Thanksgiving. Yes, we have just skipped Halloween fully. What a disgrace, because you do not skip Halloween. Sorry, not in my books. Look, I love my Halloween. You do not skip Halloween. They skipped Halloween, okay? It's already Thanksgiving. I'm like, okay, so it's November for them. Okay. Miranda is organizing a Thanksgiving dinner at her place. She wants all her friends to come to her place. We see Carrie in one of these bakery, pie, whatever shops, ordering a gazillion pies, a gazillion trinkets to eat for the Thanksgiving event that's supposed to happen at Miranda's place. The lady who's selling her the pies, coincidentally, is one of the main cast of Only Murders in the Building. I forget the actress's name, but she's fabulous. Now, other ladies, and here we have the writers serving Karen galore. Other ladies in the bakery are like overhearing that Carrie is ordering pies, and they get all angry and they say, "Didn't you just tell us that we're not allowed to pre-order the pies? You said you're all out of pre-orders." And then the whole episode begins with this really, I don't understand why they did it, but it begins with this lame teachable moment of the lady from Murders in the Building educating the Karen and telling her, like, let me tell you something, Missy. For you, I have no pies. For Carrie, I do. Because during the pandemic, where were you? Carrie was here ordering from me constantly. She has been a respectable client. And even when she ordered something and didn't come to pick it up, she still paid for it. And those pies were hanging around here on the other side of the counter until they turned green and moldy, waiting for her, and she never picked them up. But she paid for them. So yes, Carrie gets to order whatever pie she wants. You don't. So zip it. And then Carrie also wants to order some sweet stuff. Then another Karen hears, so you told me I can't order sweet, and the whole thing begins again. Now, the Only Murders in the building lady fights with the Karens. Carrie's just like kind of like, I don't see you, I don't know you, I don't want to be you, but she keeps ordering the pies. And I thought to myself, what a weird way to begin the show. Anyway, Miranda, so the whole problem is going to be like Miranda wants all her friends to come to her Thanksgiving event dinner. This is the 2-episode finale. I'm like, really? That's all you could think about? So we are now halfway in because the 2 episodes are 1 episode cut in 2. So we haven't had Miranda's Thanksgiving dinner yet, but throughout the episode, it kind of keeps falling apart. More and more people say, I can't come to your thing. So basically, the storyline that we have with Charlotte and Harry is Harry thought he wasn't going to make it through the year because of his prostate situation that he had. And of course, Charlotte says, what are you talking about? You caught it in time. It was operated. Of course, you're going to make it through Thanksgiving. And then he says, all I was ever thinking of throughout the entire summer was, I hope I only make it to Thanksgiving, at least to Thanksgiving. I'm like, come on, it's not a big deal. Like that, it's not the holiday to end all holidays, Thanksgiving, you know. Also, what does Thanksgiving stand for? You know? So anyway, so he's like, so I wanted to spend Thanksgiving with you alone because it's special for me now that I have made it through the wilderness after the surgery. And Charlotte's like, okay, fine, we'll spend Thanksgiving together alone. So she kind of is canceling on Miranda. Carrie ordered pies to feed a whole colony of pilgrims. So, there you go. So she's coming. But she also has nothing else to do. Now she goes to meet, she's walking by her old neighborhood after she ordered all the pies, and she meets up with, what's her name? The girl who she sold her apartment to. Okay, and she's like, come up, it's pre-Thanksgiving party. And her apartment is transformed into a monstrosity. So this girl rented out or sold out half the apartment to some other dude, and then they built this artificial wall to split the apartment in two. And he's like on the other side with friends smoking weed, whatever, and she's on the other side with Lisette. Oh yeah, that's her name. I think they chose that name because they thought it's funny to play some references with Les Miserables and do the Cosette, you know. She dreamed a dream in a half-sized apartment, I guess. So it's a whole other musical. And yes, there is a musical in this episode as well with rock. Man, I'm so disappointed by this episode. Anyway, so okay. Now I just remembered the rock scene. I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna have to talk about that sooner or later too. Okay, well, but anyway, so Carrie's sitting on Lisette's bed, and they have that separation between. So the apartment is split in two, and Carrie's just appalled and disgusted by the whole thing. And they're talking about loneliness, and Lisette says, "Look, I decided to separate the apartment in two and have this guy live with me because I don't want to be alone. I'm scared of being alone. I'm scared of somebody breaking in the middle of the night, unaliving me. So I'd rather have this ugliness of these people who are constantly partying rather than being alone." And Carrie, you can see Carrie kind of thinking, oh, she's alone in that huge house that she bought for herself and Aiden and for Aiden's family. That didn't go anywhere, did it? And I'm like, so where are they going with this? Because mind you, you guys, yeah, I did believe for a second what Michael Patrick King was saying, that it was true, that they knew the show was ending. So they kind of did those last two episodes to say goodbye, to wrap it all up in a nice bow. I don't buy that for a minute, because after the episode ended, I saw on YouTube that HBO posted the promo for the final episode, for episode 12 of season 3. I'm like, oh, yeah, let me click on that. Click play. HBO edited this thing, I believe, before they canceled the show. Because when a show ends and you're showing me the last promo for the last episode ever, it begins with the title saying series finale. Except, surprise, surprise, the promo for episode 12 of season 3 of And Just Like That begins with season finale. I'm like, season finale? What are you trying to say here? Did you not cancel the show after all? Because you're not calling it a series finale, which is the end of the series. You're just calling it a season finale, which means the series continues in season 4. So I'm like, okay, you know what? No, I don't believe that they thought that this was going to end. No, I don't believe it for a second. Also, the plot line. I was so disappointed. I'm not saying that episode 11 was bad. It's just, it's not a series finale episode. It's not. Okay, so Carrie is now basically, in her mind, she's like, oh, I'm going to die alone. She finished her book. She's going to her publisher. Her publisher is the cleavage lady from The Gilded Age. And I call her the cleavage lady because she's always super covered. But like in last week's episode, she had a huge cutout here. She's like the lady that kind of coordinates all the other ladies in the show. So we got Cynthia Nixon and the other woman, it's like the Gilded Age, but like in the future, basically, and just like that. So she, the cleavage lady, is Carrie's publisher from New York. Oh, Miss Fish, says Gloria. Miss Fish. Yeah, she did kind of look fishy to me. So she's like, I read your book, Carrie. When is the final chapter going to be finished? Carrie says, this is, the book is finished. This is the book. The publisher is like, no, it's not. I must have missed the last chapter then. Let me look. And she scrolls to the end of the book. And she's like, the main female character of this book is just alone in the end. A sphincter. A spinster. Oh, don't you just love those Freud slips? So she's like, can you add something to the book? Like an epilogue? She's like, what do you mean? And so Debbie carries a sphincter. Spinster. Sphincter, spinster, tomato, tomato. What are you going to do? So she's like, can you like zhuzh up the book? Because she's like, look, our readers need a happy ending. And Carrie's like, I don't think I want to do I mean, this is the end, you know? So here I'm thinking, haha, maybe, just maybe, Carrie is going to be like, you know what? I don't want to publish this book with you guys. I have the business card of the publisher from London. Let me fly to London and give her the book. Maybe she will like the ending the way it is. And then we're going to meet Samantha. Here I am, the idiot, still hoping that Samantha is going to show up. I know she ain't. But how can dream? So I'm waiting for Carrie's little tiny light bulb to go off for her to realize, hold on a minute. I have the business card of the publisher from London. Let me call her. She never does. Spoiler alert, she never does. I'm like, what the hell, you guys? That was such a missed opportunity. Anyway, so I think to myself, okay, fine. If she's not going to call the editor in England, is she going to have a fight with the ladyfish and like be like, it's either this or nothing, you know? Because it's not like she needs the money. She's rich, right? She has Big's millions. She already published 6 or 7 books. So she's like, she's living the life. She's just writing books now just because she can, you know, not because she has to. So I'm like, so just burn the book and call it a day. But no, guess what? At the end of the episode, she's actually sitting in her apartment writing the epilogue, trying to give the woman, because the woman is nameless, right? Allegedly in the book, to give her a happy ending, like, oh, the cousin, the epilogue, oh, the cousin is coming with the man and blah, blah, blah. And she's has another chance at meeting someone. I'm like, wow, how lame. But in all of this, before she writes the epilogue, she meets up with the girls for lunch or something, and she tells them, you know, the being alone, and is she going to end up alone? What's going to happen? The this, the that, you know, they're talking about it. We'll try to do this, try to do that, like super boring. And meanwhile, Charlotte invites everybody to Rock's musical. Yes, Rock's school is doing a musical, and Rock is playing the part of a girl. Charlotte is in love because she feels like her daughter is back. Now, as if you guys don't remember, Rock is non-binary. So Rock doesn't want to dress in dresses, doesn't want to put makeup on, doesn't want to have all girly stuff. But for the part in the musical that Rock is playing in this episode, Rock has to wear girly stuff. So Charlotte is shocked when she sees Rock dressed as a girl. So she, you know, she's all like, oh, my baby girl. Oh, but she doesn't want to show that emotion because she doesn't want to hurt Rock's feelings. Long story short, they all go to the premiere of the musical where Rock is performing as a woman. But Rock told Charlotte, you're not allowed to take photos. So Charlotte tells Carrie, I was told I'm not allowed to take photos, but you are allowed to take photos and you better take photos. I want to see my daughter. You know, even though the daughter is like, I'm not a daughter, I am non-binary. Okay, okay. So Carrie sneaks in the photos, gives them to Charlotte, and Charlotte is like kind of later on after the show is over, Charlotte is going through the photos like super sad, going through the photos of Rock dressed in a female costume for the show. So I'm like, oh my God, girl, just because like your kid doesn't want to dress in a certain way and but just you still I mean, I get it, but I don't get it also. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm like, just let let that individual live their life. Love them the way they are. Don't try to push them to be something you want them to be when they don't want to be that. And stop doing these scenes where you're, you know, validating then other people's ideas of how they have to push their kids in a certain direction. Let the kid do, look, it's a teenager. It goes through phases. Let them do what they do. Don't get me wrong though. I understand Charlotte's point. I understand that she's mourning something. I get it. I totally get it. But Rock is happy. You know what I mean? The way that they're portraying Rock in the show, Rock is happy the way Rock is. So just move on. Be happy that your kid is happy. Like, isn't that the bottom line? Like, isn't that the bottom line? If your kid is happy, isn't that supposed to make your heart full of joy and happiness that your kid is happy? Just be happy for your kid. It's that easy. Your kid is super happy. So be happy that your kid is happy. Then, in all of this, the only moment when I thought, oh, they're trying to wrap this up a little bit, is because Giuseppe is proposing to Anthony. And this is the weirdest moment because like they're shopping for clothes, and in the dressing room, while he's taking off his sweater, so he's topless, he goes down on his knees and he proposes to Anthony. Anthony's super happy, hugs him and says yes. Next scene, we see Anthony talking to Carrie as they're going to Rock's musical. As Giuseppe is in the bathroom, Anthony says to Carrie, "We don't have much time. I have to tell you something. He proposed to me. I said yes." Carrie's like, "Oh my God, that's amazing." But he's like, "But wait, I'm not sure I want to marry him." And Carrie's like, "What?" So Anthony is now having second thoughts. He's doubting that this relationship is a good relationship. He's like, look, he's much younger than me. I take care of him. Even in the dressing room, I had to tell him what to wear. I had to tell him what to do. I had to tell him to move in with me because he didn't know that the guy that he was living with was lusting over him. He had no clue. But in reality, he was. So he's kind of like a lost kid. And I have the feeling I'm mothering him all the time. And I don't want to be a mother to somebody. I want to be his partner. So now Anthony's having second thoughts. And when Giuseppe proposed to him, I thought, oh, this is kind of wrapping up in a bow one of the storylines. But right after I thought we're wrapping up the show a little bit, no, there comes a scene with Anthony saying, I don't want this. I actually, you know what? I'm not sure I want this. So that was kind of bizarre. But then we have Seema with her gardener in the shower, and he goes down on her. You know, he's trimming the bush, okay, with his tongue. That's a whole scene. You know, as Valerie Cherish would say in the comeback, I don't want to see that. But we did. And then he said something to the effect, yeah, yummy, I love you. Do you want to have Thanksgiving dinner with my sister? Meet the family. And she said to him, I love you too. I'm like, well, he ate the bush. He said he loves her. She said thank you. People are saying he didn't even wash his face after that. I'm like, why would he wash his face? He was in the shower anyway. People are strange. Very strange. Human beings, such a strange species. Anyway, so he says, I love you. She says, I love you. He says, come to dinner with my sister, meet my sister. She says, okay. What does this mean? She's going to cancel with Miranda. So there's another guest that's going to abandon Miranda's Thanksgiving dinner. So you know Miranda's going to be upset because we know that Miranda loves to coordinate, organize. She's very structured like a lawyer. She does not like improv. Okay? Miranda does not like improv. If she has her 10 guests on the list, those 10 guests better come to the party or else. Here's the thing though. Now we're at Miranda's place. She's having dinner with Joy and the two weird dogs. Brady comes in. Long story short, Miranda tells Brady. Well, actually, she doesn't. He attacks Miranda because he says, why did Mia tell me that you invited her to Thanksgiving dinner? Now, if you guys don't know who Mia is the lady that Brady knocked up. And now she had herses. She's just about to give birth to Brady's and her baby. Brady apparently hooked up with her a couple of times, but he doesn't want to have anything to do with her. She doesn't want to have anything to do with him. She's fine with raising the baby on her own. Miranda, however, is not fine with it. So Miranda goes behind Brady's back and invites Mia to the Thanksgiving dinner. I do not understand how the writers could have come up with this plot line, and I'm telling you this why. Because just one episode ago, Miranda found out for the first time that Brady was going to have a kid. Because he told Miranda in episode 10, while he was cooking for her and for Steve, that's the only moment we see Steve in the show, by the way. He's going to come back in episode 12, but, because we saw it in the promo for episode 12, but in episode 10, Steve has a breakdown because Brady invites them to dinner. Well, invites them. He's at Miranda's place, cooks dinner for them. He's a chef now. And he tells them, I'm going to have a baby, but I don't want the baby, and the baby's mama doesn't want me, so we'll go. Miranda in episode 10 finds out who this Mia is, where she works. She works at a beauty parlor, like a hair salon. Check out my review of episode 8, 9, 10. I did one video of 3 episodes together in my last live stream, or I posted it as a separate video. And anyway, long story short, she sneaks in to the hair salon. Mia does her shampooing. There's a whole thing that happens there. Mia is really angry at Miranda for having lied to her about like her real intentions, her true intentions. Like, why did you come here to snoop around and find out stuff about me? Why didn't you tell me from the get-go who you were? Because she was acting like somebody else, not like she was Brady's mother. But then finally she told her she's her mother. Mia is super upset, walks away and farts a couple of times as she's walking away. Haha. They keep referencing the old Sex and the City episodes. Remember the pulling the finger? Miranda pulled her own finger when she was pregnant in Sex and the City. And then she said, pulled the finger fart and said, oh my God, I just pulled my own finger when she was shopping for shoes with Carrie. And here's what I'm thinking. They're really on this nostalgia trip with us. Like they're suckering us in. Like I can't even. I've noticed this happening with a lot of brands. Yes, our generation is already in the dumpster because we've been around the block a couple of times, okay? Like, we are such suckers for nostalgia. We're going to buy anything. Okay, I can only speak for myself at this point because I don't know about you, but like, you can get me with the nostalgia. I buy old school toys that they re-release because of the nostalgia. I'm going to go watch a movie that they're going to remake from a movie from the past because of the nostalgia. I'm going to go and buy a certain cut outfit or sneakers or color of clothes or accessories because they're reissuing something from the past. Why are they doing it? Because they know I'm going to buy it because of the nostalgia. And looky, eggs and cookies, it's what they're doing with Sex and the City. All of the shticks, the jokes, and the little tricks that they're doing with us, where we actually laugh, it's when they pull the nostalgia thing on us. Like with Miranda farting, pulling her own finger, they had to redo it with Mia. So like they're kind of constantly referencing all of the past Sex and the City things, and like they're not adding, you know what I mean? They're not giving us something new to laugh about, something new. They're only recycling what they already invented years ago. I'm like, why aren't you inventing something new? Give us something new. Give us something new that's memorable. Instead of making us live in this constant weird limbo of nostalgia. But it's like, with photocopies, like when you do analog photocopying, not digital, back in the day with the Xerox machine, every time, so like let's say I put a picture on the photocopy machine and I make a copy of it, I take that out, I put the copy on, I put that on, and make a copy of the copy. With every copy you make, the copy that comes out printed is you're losing a generation of quality. It gets less and less quality. You know what I mean? This is the feeling I'm getting with this show. Every time they repeat a joke, every time they repeat a scene that they've already filmed similar and just like that, it's like every time they do that, they end up watering things down. Yeah, I get it that we feel the nostalgia. Yeah, but it's watered down because it's never going to have the same impact as the first time they filmed that scene decades ago. It just won't. But why aren't they giving us new moments instead of giving us highlights of the show, as in repeating, copying what we already had in the old show? It's called the degradation. Degrade. As John Galliano would say, the degrade. The degrade. So there's that. Now, but we digress. So I'm thinking Mia was super angry at Miranda. She leaves, like she wets her with water while she's washing her hair. She attacks her verbally. She walks away and farts. She's super angry. Like, so how come we didn't see the evolution? Like, Mia was super upset with Miranda. Like, how did we get from that moment to now the next episode? Miranda's like chitty chatty with Mia all of a sudden. How? And she invited her to Thanksgiving, and Mia said yes. How is that possible? Just one episode ago, Mia didn't want to have anything to do with Brady. Mia didn't want to have anything to do with his family. And all of a sudden, yeah, sure, I went behind your back, Brady, and I invited Mia to dinner, and she said yes. I thought you'd be fine with it. Of course he's not fine with it. He told you very clearly he's not fine with it. Super bizarre. So that happened, all while Joy and her dogs were feeling very out of place. Because Joy and Miranda were having dinner when Brady barged in on them, attacking Miranda for having invited Mia to the dinner. So he says he's not going to come to the dinner. So Miranda's losing more guests for her Thanksgiving dinner. So he leaves the house. Joy went to the other room, like, and Miranda's just like, oh my God, what's going on? What's going on? Crazy stuff. So in all this, we do have Carrie carrying the Coach bag, the oversized coin pouch turned into a huge, ginormous bag. Cute. Harry can't get a boner. He's still struggling with his virility. LTW, yeah, so Lisa Todd Wexley. So she's having issues with her husband, you know, because he cannot get over the fact that he lost the election for city council something. And so he's like really upset, and Lisa Todd Wexley's really trying to comfort him, to be there for him, but he's so irritated by his loss of the election that he kind of takes it out on her. So he snaps at her, you know, whenever she tries to kind of tell him that he is a wonderful person, that he's a strong person, he just, you know, he just snaps at her. And so she's now upset. So she leaves the house, and he's like working on his stuff, and he's just irritated and cramped up. So we know that she's going to, whose arms and embrace is she going to run to? And we saw that in the promo for episode 12. Her editor is coming back into the picture. We did not see him in episode 11, but he'll be back in episode 12. So I guess they're setting up the situation where Lisa might do a little fiddly diddly with the editor. We don't know though, but it's a possibility. But I'm like, oh, so all of this has been building up towards episode 12 so that she would be unfaithful to her hubby, but then that's the end of the show? Okay. You see what I mean? It all makes no sense. It's like it doesn't feel like the end of the series. This really feels like the end of a season. And they're building up for little cliffhangers. You know, like what are we going to see in next season? Because everything is kind of slow. It's a slow cook. You know, there's no bursts, there's no boiling, sizzling, titillating anything. Everything is cooking and marinating slowly. I'm like, this is not how you end the show. This is not how you end the show. Matter of fact, here we get to the point I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Here's the thing. A little birdie has been telling people online that apparently Sarah Jessica Parker is so upset about the cancellation of the show that, unlike what they're trying to tell us, like they knew it was happening, allegedly they didn't know it was happening. So she is now with a propeller in her butt, jumping from TV station to TV station, from streaming network to streaming network, trying to find anybody who would accept in any way the continuation of this shenanigan. And this is why we get to the point where I'm thinking, if she manages to sell this show to somebody else, first of all, Saraka Jessica Parkareka, first of all, she didn't write Sex and the City. The Candace what's her name? Can, Candace Owens did not write the show. What's the, another Candace? What's her name? The writer of Sex and the City, of the books. She owns the rights to the books, not Sarah Jessica Parker. So who? So I'm like, so who is she? So how can Sarah Jessica Parker just be like, you know what? Oh, Candace Bushnell, Bunshell or Bushnell? Bush, Candace Bushnell. Thank you guys. Yeah, Candace Bushnell. Here you go. So what's she gonna do? Like, she doesn't own the rights to Sex and the City unless Candace doesn't tell her, yeah, you can do it, you can do it. But then I'm sure HBO also has some rights. Like, I don't know what to believe about Sarah Jessica Parker, like, just saying, oh, okay, we're done with HBO. HBO doesn't want us anymore. Okay, let me go to Netflix. Let me go to MGM. Let me go to Hulu. Let me go to Paramount. Like, I don't know, you guys. It all seems very forced. But look, would I like it if the show continued? Yes, I would. Because unlike most people who really are saying, like in the comments, oh, thank God the show is over. Really? You're saying thank God the show was over? You religiously watched every episode. Yeah, you hate watched, but you watched. You're going to be sad it's gone. Even if nothing, even just because you loved to hate watch it. Okay. I'm going to miss the girls because I think this was a cuckoo show that just was so out of touch with reality to the point where it felt like a fever dream with really bad writing, but I loved it anyway. To me, it was like a guilty pleasure. I would watch it. I would pig out pizza, hamburger, something, doing my nails, wearing my Chanel necklaces while I watch the episode. And I'm feeling my feels. Okay. I'm like, oh man, can't we have anything? Like, it's 2025. We already have so little. We almost have nothing left. Let's be real here for a second. I don't understand the people saying, like, oh, finally, the show is over. The show is, I'm like, we have barely anything left, people. Okay? Like, and now we're like rejoicing the fact that this show is over too. Like, I don't get it. Honestly. I don't get it. Can't we have something? But I do believe that Sarah Jessica Parker is kind of looking to find another home for And Just Like That, because it does not, honestly, you guys, all jokes aside, this does not feel like a series finale. Like the first of 2 episodes. I get it, we have 1 more episode left, but what are you going to do in 25 minutes? Because that's how long the episodes are. Okay, we just wasted 25 minutes 2 days ago when they aired episode 11, and now we have another 25 minutes left for the finale. Give me a break. What can you wrap up in 25 minutes? Nothing. Either we get a really better ending, but yeah, eh, I don't know. Just we can't have anything, can we? It's all gone. They're taking it all away from us. So what if the show was cringy and bad? It gave you some emotions. It made you so angry that it was so cringy and bad that you felt some type of way. At least you felt something, which is sad to say, way more than anything else has been happening to us lately. You know what I mean? At least it made you feel something. Yeah, when Carrie, like, what was it, episode 2 or 3 of season 3, when she wore that strawberry shortcake muffin top hat. Yeah, did we all say it was cringe AF? Yeah. Would anybody in their sane mind walk through, where was she, by the way? I think she was, somewhere in nature. Would you be caught dead walking around like that? No. But it was fun watching, you know? It's like a train wreck situation, you know? When we watched Trisha Paytas crying on the kitchen floor, telling us she felt like a chicken nugget. Like, that's the vibe. That's the vibe. We were like, oh my God, Carrie's walking around with her strawberry shortcake, thing. And, oh, was she in Central Park? In Central Park. It's a moment. We'll remember that ugly hat. We will, for better or for worse. But it's, it is. It is what it is. Yeah, DL says it was fun at least, right? There you go. Rumpelstiltskin's daughter says, I loved watching this in my 30s, and now I loved watching it in my 50s. Now what am I going to watch with a woman my age? The Gilded Age. You're going to watch The Gilded Age, Wednesday, season 2. Joanna Lumley is in it. You're going to watch Too Much from Lena Dunham. Stephen King's The Institute. There's stuff to watch, but I'm going to miss it. Sorry. I know people are like, oh no, but it's a terrible show. Look, also, quite frankly, I don't get it. People watch the show, they hate watch it, then they come to channels like mine to watch the recap. And then in the comments, they write like really like negative stuff about the show. And I'm like, I get it. You're entitled to your opinion. Of course you are. Of course you're entitled to your opinion. But then I don't understand how people feel like entitled to be homophobe in the comments. Like, I had somebody write comments something like, there's too many gay themes in the show and too many trans this in the show and too many, this is like, they're all deviates. I loved your recap. Heart, heart, heart. I'm like, dear viewer, you must be blind because you're commenting under my video really homophobe shit. Like, hello, what is not computing with you? And this is something that our times are very, very proclivious to, and that is homophobia. It's being normalized, it's being internalized, and people are feeling mighty bold to just make fun of it and make fun of us. Entitled, as if it were the most normal thing to do. Well, it's not the most normal thing to do, so please stop it. These things go in circles and cycles, and just because you think now and forever you may behave that way, times will change again, and you will not be able to behave that way again. But here's the thing. People like me will never forget. So think twice before you decide to spread your hate as if it were nothing. Like cereal you eat early in the morning that you shit out later on in the afternoon after you've had your second coffee. Not happening. Not on my watch. So, I will miss this show, for better or for worse. I'm very much looking forward to the last episode. And you know what? If Sarah Jessica Parker manages to somehow miraculously sell the show to another network and rename it, like, I don't know, what she might call it. I will watch it. I will watch it. Wherever she decides to take the show, I'm going to watch it. So let's see. And Just Like That is over. So what would the new show be called? I don't know. I would call it maybe, um, Louis says, and I couldn't help but wonder. Yeah, that could be the title of the new show. Or they could call it, I don't know what they could call it. Here we go again. That would be a good one. Here we go again. Oh, Sex and the City again. Well, here we go again. Yeah, Katana, that's the one. Oh, Sarah as suddenly. Yeah, suddenly. Oh, no, no, no. You know what? Wait. Okay, I got the title. I got the title. I got the title. Are you ready for this? The new show. If she sells it to another network, it's going to be called um I would love a show. No, you guys, the title is amazing. I'm sorry. Um That's it. That's the new show. It's called with the side eye like uh everybody's gonna be like not to be confused with Trixie Mattel's and Katya's. Yeah, that's a different one. Because that is because that's a sexual context. This one is not sexualized. This is more like, what the hell did you just do? You're not doing it again, are you? That's the it's like okay, with the side like oh. And they can use the meme with the little girl in the car. You know the blonde girl in the car with the two bunny teeth? She's like that's the one. That's the poster, and they can Photoshop Sarah Jessica Parker's face on, on the meme, and they call it and that's it. Yeah, call it we'll go. That would be good too, but nobody would know what it is. But the world will know. So anyway, that's our recap of episode 11. I mean, I don't think that in episode 12 they're going to travel to London and meet Samantha. But you know what? Maybe Samantha will fly to New York. Oh, Lunar says, how many people would watch if they just called it Samantha's Back? You really think Sarah Jessica Parker would allow a show to be called like that or even an episode? Forget it. No, her ego is too hurt, I feel. But I can tell you this much. If I were the owner of Netflix and Sarah Jessica Parker came to me saying, I really want to, to continue the show, would you be interested? If I were Netflix, I would be like, sure, you betcha, sure. Only if you manage to, by hook or by crook, bring Kim Cattrall back. That's the deal. Kim Cattrall or no deal. That would be my condition. You know what I mean? Oh, you're used to getting $2 million per episode. Now you want $3 million? Yeah, I can give you $3 million per episode. But condition, Kim Cattrall. You got whatever you gotta do. Whatever you gotta do. You gotta lick her booty for the rest of eternity? If that's her condition to return back, that's your problem, Miss Thing. If you want the show on my network, you gotta bring her back. Do what you gotta do. Make your magic happen. That's the deal. Kim Cattrall or no deal. Period. That would be my condition. That would be my condition. And then SJP would be like, and that's how we got the title of the new show. Rooted in reality. Here you go. Oh, that other meme. You remember that other meme of that doll, like from the 50s, like from a TV show for kids? That those two dolls that look like they're like chubby and they're looking at each other. And usually the meme reads like, me and my friend in a direct elevator down to hell while we were thinking that we stepped into the elevator after our life was over going to heaven. And as the elevator starts collapsing downwards, the two dolls are looking at each other like, that's Sarah Jessica Parker's face when they tell her either Kim Cattrall is back or no show. And she's like, period. That's the new show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe. Let me know down below your thoughts and prayers. And tune in next week when we review whatever is left of the show in episode 12 of season 3 of And Just Like That. Love you loads. Subscribe. Thumb up the video. Never give up on love. Bye.